Hey everyone, my name is Lance, and this is Amped About Aimpad. It's been a few months since my last video, and I thought I would give you another update on what we've been up to. So the first is the MK850 is now very close to being available for you to purchase. Yes, I've said that many times before, but this time it's true. It's close. It's very close, I promise. It has gone through some mass production, and it will need to ship from the factory to different distribution channels, and then can be available to be purchased in your favorite retailer, hopefully. It will take a little bit of time to get there, but it's very close. So we're excited about it. We're excited to see what you guys think about it, and hopefully you enjoy it as much as we do. The other things we've been working on is different ways that we can utilize analog keys. We've kind of hammered on analog keys are the future for gaming, for sure. It is, it's awesome, and there's no better way to play using a keyboard than with analog keys. But we kind of feel like we've mastered what it feels like to play using an analog keyboard, but we thought that we would focus more on how to play music using a keyboard. So let's jump into that. Alright, so here we have our Aimpad R5 prototype keyboard. For those that are unfamiliar with it, this is basically the keyboard we use to develop new code and new concepts and ideas and test them out to see if they work. So in previous videos you might have seen our R5 keyboard that shows itself as a keyboard and as a mouse and as an Xbox controller. But this version of the keyboard adds additional functions to make it do what's called MIDI control. So those that don't know what MIDI is, it's basically a music standard to control different things like whether a note is being played or not, and how loud that note is, as well as other different types of messages to control music programs. So this is a program called MIDI aux that basically monitors for MIDI messages that are being sent to the keyboard, and based off of how I press the keys, will send different types of values. So there's not a whole lot of practical application for MIDI aux, but what if I wanted to actually play a musical instrument? So what I can do is set up this program called Contact that basically presents a musical instrument, and it's waiting for input to produce sound. So this is just a digital musical instrument, and I have a device that can control digital musical instruments. So when I press the key, it sounds like a piano, right? But these keys on this side are all digital, so if you notice in this middle section, there is a graph that indicates how loud the note is. When I push these keys, they're all the same note. No matter if I push them just slightly or hard, they're all the same. It's just the same note. It's very kind of flat and generic sounding, so if you were to play a song, it doesn't sound very interesting because all the notes are the same. However, these keys are analog, and because I can sense where the keys are, I can sense how fast they've been pressed. And because of that reason, I can push the keys small and slowly, and it's soft. If I push it a little faster, it will get louder and louder based off of how hard I press it or how fast I press the key. And for all these analog keys, I can get different values of it based off of how I press those keys. And it allows you to provide emotion and inflection and feeling into your music. So that's a very unique way to interact with analog keys. So something else that we've been working on with this is, let's say you want to present another instrument like an electric guitar. So electric guitars are cool because in a real guitar, you can hold down a note and then you can like bend the string. So if I push this key down, if I want to replicate that, I can have these analog keys over here, which is this down key, is the same thing as pitching the note. So I can bend that string and make the sound different. So if I wanted to do some different sounds and unique ways to interact with it, I can add my own personality and feeling to it. You can also add things like modulation. So if I wanted to add modulation to the sound, these two arrow keys will increase or decrease that modulation. So I can press the key and add modulation. You can hear the little wow 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 sound, or I can take it away. And if I wanted to add maybe that much modulation and also deal with some pitch bend, what I can do is play a song like so I can add my own flair and feeling to the music based off of interacting with all those keys, as well as having control over the pitch bend with these arrow keys. So that's pretty cool. Now, how do I tie this all together? How do I make this meaningful and useful? Because this is a keyboard, it's not a piano. It doesn't have the layout. If you know how to play a piano, it has white keys and black keys, and they all correspond to notes, and it's kind of intuitive if you practice the piano a lot and things like that. But if you don't know how to play a piano and you don't know how to read music, where does this leave you? Like, how do you use this keyboard practically and how to use it effectively if you don't know how to use those skills? So the interesting thing that you can kind of think about is there's this company called Musitude, and if you go to musitude.com, you can check it out, and I highly recommend doing so. But basically, their concept is that not many people know how to read music, but they know how to read letters, and people know how to type on a keyboard. So if you take those two concepts together and kind of marry them together, you can see letters on the screen that correspond to notes that a piano would make, and you can basically type out a song, and it is just kind of intuitive. It doesn't take effort or things. It's very easy and approachable for people to read these notes and kind of get a sense and a feeling of what it's like. So as you can see on the screen, it says QP, QP, QP. And if I press those notes, I can go... And so you've probably heard the song from Beethoven, but it basically is an easy way to interact with these notes and play a song. So what I like to do is bring up this graph again and kind of show you what's going on how the notes are being played. But at the same time, because these notes over here are analog, I can add more inflection and feeling to those notes than I can to this right side. So I'm going to play this song and try to add a little bit more feeling to these notes versus the ones that are on the right side. And hopefully you can kind of tell the difference. And I think that will come across well. Hopefully you enjoyed that video and got a little bit of insight into what we are planning on next. If you like this video and like to see more, go ahead and subscribe. Otherwise, thank you for watching.